Good morning, everyone. Let's start with a question. Why is the utilization rate of PS teams lower in May, higher in June? Can anyone take a guess? Well, a lot of PS folks are at Propel in May, so. And then you take your ideas back from here, take the energy back from here, and so productive utilization is going to be higher starting from June. So. Cool. Welcome back for day 2. A lot of you had great inputs, feedback for yesterday, and a lot of you told me, in a way, you found your tribe here. So super happy that we were able to enable that for you all. And I think today we have more interesting talks coming up, more about AI as well. And I think, we had some wonderful sessions yesterday. People specifically appreciated, I think, the CIO panel, Brian's talk, and there's been a lot of feedback we've gotten about what you all liked. Hopefully today you will get even more of what you liked. But yeah, excited to get today kicked off. So yesterday, in a way, was about setting context for where the world is headed and some thought leadership, which is more foundational. Today is going to be a lot more about using AI automation upon your foundation, giving you more examples of teams that are on that journey already. We have, for example, Alaya Care, who's going to share some of their journey. We have Retool, which is like a modern company using their own tool as well in conjunction with Rocket Lane to build some great automation. So we'll see some of that. We're going to see some, again, thought leadership sessions from Logic Gate, from OneSource Virtual, about like redesigning your customer journey. So there is a lot to look forward to. I'm super excited. But I think it's also about us showing our vision where we are headed. So, super excited about how we're going to showcase our roadmap and path forward as well. We're actually doing 2 sessions today. Just want to make sure everyone's aware. One, which is going to happen immediately now, which is like our AI vision and roadmap reveal. And then we also have the rest of our product roadmap, right? So that's a separate session. Just want to call out that you're going to see 2 independent sessions today focused on where we are headed. So I think there is an obvious change which is happening in every tech company. And I know majority of the teams here are product companies which have services teams, right? And the change is that all of our companies are going to be building agents or building something around agents, building for agents. For example, if you're in a security domain, maybe you're building guardrails for a agentic world. If you're a product company, you're definitely building agentic flows for your customers to do things in a more automated fashion. And what does that shift mean? I think that shift essentially means we are moving into an era of vision selling again in tech companies, right? We're all going to be building those agents. There is going to be unknown unknowns when we go to deploy those agents. It's like a 0 to 1 journey that all of us are going to be doing again. Rewind to early days of your SaaS products where you are implementing the first few customers. It's going to be that journey again for a lot of us because we are in a way reinventing ourselves in the new world. How does that impact a PS team? I think, of course, you're going to learn to deploy AI software, right? Which is less deterministic. It's not, hey, configured this workflow and I've verified that the data is going in. It's also, hey, is this going to happen reliably every time? Is it going to misbehave a new time? Do we need to think about model changes? Some of what Justin referred to yesterday on what they were doing with, I think it's called Afresh. That comes to mind, right? Like there is the unknowns. You're going to be pulled into maybe more POCs. People are going to want to restrict contract timelines to a year to say, okay, we're going to first do this with you all for a year and then figure out. So getting them successfully implemented. There was one more session yesterday where, in the same session, we talked about what does a good implementation look like? What is it to do this well for your customer? That's going to be the focus again for a lot of this. And I think a lot of AI products are going to initially have some gaps that again PS needs to figure out and fill. So that's the world PS needs to prepare for. And when we think about AI in PSA tools, right, what most people think about is, hey, am I going to get predictive insights? Am I going to be able to ask questions of my data? Am I going to get like an assistant for my project where I can just, chat with the project and get information? Am I going to be able to manage my resources more easily with, hey, AI, tell me who I should staff on this project. What's going to happen to the utilization rate if I do this staffing? Can you, cater to these constraints and give me the right team? Things like that are going to be expected. There is, of course, I think a lot of us, even yesterday, talked about, conversations around about, hey, risk mitigation. We want to get flagged for, things that are going wrong in a project more automatically with AI. And forecasting as well, right? Like these are things that everyone expects that are going to come with AI. And I believe, yes, all of this is going to happen with AI agents that platforms like us introduce. We will be showcasing some of that roadmap very shortly. But I also want to bring up one more picture for your consideration, right? It's from a size of these pie, it's not accurate. For example, 8.4% should be much smaller than what we're showing there. But for the sake of accommodating what we wanted to say inside, we've taken the liberty of keeping it as is. But what I want you to take away is when we think about, hey, here is what I want to automate, we're often thinking from a leadership lens, we're often thinking from an ops lens, and we're often thinking from an admin work lens. What we're missing out, the bigger pie, is usually, hey, what's happening on the actual delivery? And that is why, for example, in yesterday's session from Ben at MongoDB, you'd have seen how crunching the timeline of the delivery and the consultant's time has great impact for a PS team. And I think whether it's internal collaboration or the actual activities, you look at the 47.9%, I think that size is a little more accurate. So we have things like, hey, we need to do our documents, a requirements document, a solution document. You need to document what configuration you did for the customer. You need to set up different configurations for the customer. You need to think about how am I going to bring data into the system. You need to validate the data, transform the data, ingest the data into your system. Once you've set up the configuration, you need to test the configurations. You need to set up integrations, test the integrations. All of this activity that your consultants are doing, that's the biggest chunk of time where their individual efforts are going into it. There's also, of course, things we are doing with the customer, communication with the customer, the project, updates that we're doing, training sessions that we're doing with customers, status updates we're publishing to them. And there is the internal operational side of things, which is, hey, I need to keep my systems up to date. I need to copy over